Okay, William, I am so glad you went with the electric drill being used for the potato. But I love this idea. Because you know what? It's just not completely out of control. It's there. It will work. This idea will work. That's why I think it's so great. So the one thing I think is a really good job on your sketches. I think they're fantastic. Really showing intent. They're very, very clear. There's a couple of things I think that we can condense, and I think there's a couple of things that are missing from the narrative itself. I think the thing that's missing from the narrative is the actual definition of the problem. You start with the solution. Okay, let's start with the problem. In other words, let's start with someone in a kitchen that needs to peel a potato and doesn't have much time, maybe looking at the watch, looking at a pile of potatoes, looking at the clock, and you know, do you see what I'm saying? Or somehow indicating that I got to get these potatoes peeled quickly. Okay, you have the hand potato peeler, and you have the potato. So you could just do it by hand. So let's set this narrative up that maybe need to save some time. I don't know, work on that. But I think it's very imperative that you start with the problem instead of setting up the solution. You see what I'm saying? Show the problem first, then start working like the idea. Like you go like the person's looking at the pile of potatoes, looking at the clock, and thinking there's no way, and then all of a sudden thinking, you know, the light bulb goes off, and they grab the drill, and you don't need to show all the little pieces parts here. Just show them grab the drill. You don't even really need to show this. Just have them grabbing the drill and putting the bit in, and then putting the potato on the bit. From there on, I think it's self-explanatory. It's great. So that would be my recommendation, to start with the problem. The other thing is I think that you're too linear here. I think to really add some interest, you might not want to just go straight linear like this, okay? Just follow the path, you know what I'm saying? And plus the path would indicate that the potato path itself would indicate that this illustration would go from here to here, right? Because we're following the path, so it would go, okay, following the path, and it's bringing us here, indicating that the path would then go back this way. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's kind of something you have to work that timeline out a little bit. Because it would go from here to here, of course, then putting the potato on and peeling it. Okay, so then in the final scene, you could maybe even have the same scene in the kitchen where the person is looking at the clock and the pile of potatoes that needs to be peeled. And then at the end, you could have the same thing with the clock indicating maybe just 5 minutes later and the whole pile of potatoes is peeled. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that would be a really interesting narrative. And I think that narrative is one of the most important things here. Not only is the illustrative style going to be imperative to the success of the project, but so is the narrative. It's got to make sense. All right. So then what I was saying about this linear path is basically another thing I wanted to say about that is, does it have to go straight across? Can we combine steps and go maybe one here, then one here, then another step down here, then the next step over here, then the next step down over here, instead of just going straight across like we're reading a book? Do you see what I'm saying? I keep saying, do you see what I'm saying? Like you're standing in front of me. Sorry about that. It's probably annoying. Anyway, so yeah, awesome. I love it. Can't wait to see where it's going. If you have any questions, comments, or anything else, please let me know. Good job, man. Thank you very much.